Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga with Heini. I'm Heini, and this week I'm going to lead you through a fun Vinyasa yoga practice. Our peak pose is the bird of paradise pose, so we're preparing shoulders, hips, the whole body for this big pose in the end. Let's get started. For this week's practice, you don't necessarily need any props, and especially when we're doing a Vinyasa flow practice, you might want to do this without props. However, you could have an optional block or a stack of books there with you if you want to use a block. As we go through the practice, I will show you a couple of poses with a block in case you want to use it. But you might do this whole practice without any props. So bird of paradise, it's a big pose and it requires a lot of mobility and strength from the shoulders, from around the hips, from the core. So we'll be preparing our whole body for this peak pose. And also remember, doing the full bird of paradise will be completely optional. You'll have options along the way. When you are ready on your mat in your practice space, we're going to start from lying down on the back. So come lie down, and we're going to leave the knees bent in the beginning. So you have your feet about hip width apart. And we're just going to take a few breaths here before we start to move. So let your shoulders soften, sink down towards the mat. Let the neck relax. You might rock the head from side to side a couple of times. And then focus on the breath. I encourage you to find support in the core structures with your breath. Sending in breaths a bit more towards the ribs so that we could keep that subtle lifting in all the way from the inner thighs to pelvic floor to the abdominal muscles, especially the deeper lower abdominal muscles. And it might help you to focus on exhaling and kind of lifting up through the lower belly. So the exhalation draws in through the lower belly, below the navel, and also lifts up towards the chest. So just having that subtle activation through the core already here when we're not moving yet. And trying to do it without tucking the tail under. So when we're lying down here, when you do that exhalation and kind of draw in through the lower belly, try not to press the lower back onto the mat. Leave that natural arch in the lower back. You might also feel the sides coming in with that exhalation. I like to think it's like a toothpaste tube, and you start that subtle squeezing from the bottom of that tube, and it moves up along the spine, along those structures. But to maintain that support, I recommend breathing more out to the ribs rather than every in-breath down to the belly. Let's take another 2 breaths here. Also, just finding that calm pace, that calm rhythm. I'm trying to maintain that calmness in the breath, even when we go into our bigger poses, our stronger poses. And then after those 2 breaths, we start to move, and we're going to do 3 lifts into a bridge pose. So bring your feet to about hip width apart or even a bit wider, heels quite close to the buttocks. And first inhale towards the ribs. As you exhale, press the feet down and lift your pelvis, roll the spine off the mat, open the fronts of the hips. You can even lift your chest bone higher up. Inhale up in your bridge. And then with an exhalation, slowly roll the spine down. Release the pelvis down. Inhale down on the mat. We'll do this 2 more times. With the exhalation, press the feet down, and with that pressing down, lift the pelvis, lift the back off the mat. Inhale up in your bridge. You can lift the chest bone higher up. And then as you exhale again, slowly, with control, bring the back, bring the pelvis down. Inhale on the mat. And then once more, with the exhalation, press the feet down, elevate the pelvis, the back off the mat. And now we're going to stay here 3 breaths. Check with your feet. Can you press down through both feet? Feel the base of the big toes on the mat. Feel the heels pressing down, and focusing on the heels might help you to feel the back line of the body engaging even more. 1 more breath in your bridge. And then slowly with the next exhalation, release the back, the pelvis down. And once your pelvis has come down, a few times swing the knees, swing the legs from side to side, windshield wipers. You could also rock the head from side to side. Just a bit of twisting movement. And then from the back, we're going to come up onto all fours. So roll onto one side. It could be left or the right side. And bring yourself all the way up onto hands and knees. And we're going to do a few cat-cow movements. So we get more movement through the spine. So hands roughly shoulder width apart, knees roughly hip width apart. And now use your inhalation to open the chest. You could even look forward. As you exhale, round your spine and press down through your shoulders and arms, and equally press down through the knees. Same again, as you inhale, open the chest and keep the lower belly drawn in, although you're moving into a back bend. As you exhale again, round your spine and tuck the tailbone under again, press down through the shoulders and arms. Inhale again, open the chest. You can turn the tailbone up towards the ceiling. And once more, exhale, round your spine. And then slowly bring your spine back to center, back to neutral spine. You could rock a couple of times from side to side. And from here, we're going to lift all the way up into downward dog. So if you want, you could step hands just a tiny bit further forward, really open the palms, then tuck the toes under, shift the weight forward. And from there, exhale, send the pelvis up into our first downward dog. And here, I suggest we move, walking from one foot to the other. Maybe walking from one hand to the other. So trying to get in touch with the hips, trying to get in touch with the shoulders. So you feel that you can move. You're not kind of fixing yourself into the pose. You're not stuck in the pose, but you can move. And you find that strength, that support from the shoulders, from the hips, and from the core. So the torso is also strong. Take a couple more breaths in and out. Try to release tops of the shoulders away from the ears. So it's more the arms connected to your back and growing out from your ears. And then from this first downward dog, we're going to go into a gecko pose. So now you could shift the weight a bit more to your hands and then look to your hands, step the left foot to the outside of your left hand. So maybe all the way to the outer edge of the mat and release the right knee down. You can choose if you want to keep the right foot toes tucked under or release the right foot toes. So both hands on the inside of that left foot. And this is one of those poses where you could use a block under the hands if you feel that bringing hands down onto the mat is now a bit too much. So we're going to do a few kind of push-ups, press-ups in this pose. So most of the weight on your hands. Inhale, press the mat away. And as you exhale, bend your elbows, a bit like you're doing a low plank, a chaturanga pose on the inside of that left leg. Inhale, push the mat away and straighten the arms, push yourself all the way up. Same again. Exhale, bend the elbows and your left hip, even the left foot, can open more as you come down. And inhale, push yourself up. Once more. As you exhale, bend the elbows like you're doing a push-up, a press-up. And inhale, push yourself up. Now once more, exhale, bend the elbows and either stay on your hands or you could put your elbows onto a block or onto the mat and take 2 breaths, staying down in this low gecko pose. And again, you can let the left hip, even the left foot, open wider apart, turn out to the side. And then we're going to inhale, bring hands on the block or mat, come all the way back up. And if you have a block there, just put the block aside, bring your hands to the mat. And we're going to send the left leg behind us, come back onto all fours, or maybe we could say here all three. So you have your left leg extended behind you and you're on your right knee and 2 hands. Lengthen the back. And then as you inhale, start to lift your left leg up into the air behind you, finding your balance on those 2 hands and 1 knee. Either stay here or lift your right hand off the mat and reach the right arm behind you. Open the chest. Either stay here or one more option. Bend the left knee, reach right hand towards that left foot. You can take hold of the left foot and you can even gently kind of kick, send the left shin further back behind you and open the chest even more. The full tiger pose. Now keep the left shoulder active, pressing down. Still having that lifting in through the lower belly, through the pelvic floor. 1 more breath. You can let the right shoulder open. And then from wherever you are, slowly come down. Release the left foot down. Bring both hands to the mat. And then bring both knees to the mat as well. You can rock a bit from side to side. Move the neck, move the head. And we're going to lift back into downward dog. So again, tuck the toes under and exhale. Lift your pelvis up. Move through the feet, move through the hands, shoulders. Shake the head, release the heavy head down. And we're going to do the gecko and the tiger to the other side. So we can look forward, shift weight to hands a bit more, and then step the right foot to the outside of the right hand and lower the left knee down. And you could even release the left foot toes. That's optional, you can choose. And again, you have an option to bring a block under hands or just keep hands down on the mat. On this side, I'll show this without the block. And remember, your right foot, so the front leg, foot and hip could open more out to the sides. Now push the mat away. Inhale. Keep the upper back wide. As you exhale, bend the elbows like you're doing a low plank. And inhale, push yourself up. Try to keep the fingers in touch with the mat. Same again. Exhale, bend the elbows. try to bring the elbows quite close to the sides. And inhale, pushing yourself up. We'll still keep tops of the shoulders away from the ears. Once more, exhaling down. And inhale, pushing yourself up. And then the last time we go down and stay for 2 breaths. So exhale down again. You can either stay on your hands or maybe bring a block under elbows or even bring elbows down to the mat. And here, again, the front leg, hip, the foot can open. Keep the neck still free. Keep tops of the shoulders released away from the ears. And then inhale, bring hands back onto the mat. Lift yourself up onto hands. And we're going to now send the right leg behind us. Maybe first the toes on the mat so you can adjust your hands under shoulders. Bring the left knee to about under the left hip. And then lengthen the spine. And as you inhale, lift your right leg up into the air. And you can stay here balancing on 3 points. Or lift your left hand off the mat and reach the left arm behind you. So just one hand, one knee on the mat. The last option was to bend the right knee and then reach the left hand towards that right foot. You can take hold of the right foot and start to open the chest even more. You can use that right leg to kind of gently kick back, reach up. In whichever variation you're in, try to keep the chest open. So there's that activation through the back line. Keep breathing towards the ribs. One more breath. And then as you exhale, release the pose. Bring hands down. Bring the right knee down. And then for a moment, lean the pelvis back into child's pose. You take the weight of the hands. You could turn palms up towards the ceiling. You could also bring arms next to the sides. Maybe just rock a bit from side to side. Couple of breaths in and out in child's pose. You could move the wrists, hands if needed. Take another breath in and out. And then we're going to make our way back up. So now bring hands on the mat and lift yourself up onto hands and knees. Tuck the toes under. We're going to exhale back into downward facing dog. And from this downward dog, we're going to do 2 vinyasa flows. If you don't want to go through the flows, you can just enjoy a longer downward dog. If you want to flow, inhale, come forward to plank. And then exhale slowly to low plank. You could have your knees on the mat. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. So you could keep the knees on the mat here. Exhale into downward dog. And we're going to do same again. So if you want to do a second flow, inhale forward to plank. Exhale to low plank again. Knees could be on the mat. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Again, knees could be on the mat. And then exhale to downward facing dog. Lift the pelvis up. You could shake the head a bit. Then we're going to continue into standing poses, and we're going to go first into warrior 1 and some variations there. So first, you could now inhale, lift the left leg up behind you. And then exhale, step the left foot somewhere behind your left hand and turn the right foot slightly open on the mat. And we find our way up into warrior 1. So inhale, lift your back up, lift arms up. Open the chest. Exhale, cactus the arms. Opening the chest more and just slightly drawing shoulder blades towards each other. The front knee is bent, the back leg is extended. Take another breath in and out, soften tops of the shoulders. And we stay in warrior one. We're going to exhale, bring arms now behind the back and either reach for the opposite elbow behind the back or interlock fingers, extend the arms. Inhale, open the chest wherever the arms are. Exhale, bend down into humble warrior. So now you're going to go on the inside of that front leg. Lean your back forward. If you have interlocked fingers, you can extend the arms behind the back. But see if you could go on the inside of that front leg rather than on top of the front leg. Still keeping both feet pressing down. Let the heavy head drop down. Take another breath in and out. And then we're going to stay down. Just exhale, slowly, slowly release the arms. Bring hands all the way down onto the mat. And we're going to go into a Vinyasa flow from here. So now step your both feet back. Find your plank. Inhale. Exhale to low plank. Again, knees could be on the mat. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale into downward dog. Release the neck. And we're going to do the same to the other side. So now, as you inhale, lengthen the right leg slightly up. Exhale, step your right foot to kind of behind the right hand. Where do you feel you can bring the foot down? Turn left foot slightly open. Rotate the left hip slightly open. And from those warrior one legs, inhale, lift your back up. Reach arms up, opening the front. Exhale, cactus the arms. Each elbow reaching away from the other. Open the palms, even the fingers. And really feel the upper back is active. So you can even draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Take another breath in and out. And then stay in warrior one. Exhale, release the arms down behind the back. Again, either take hold of the opposite elbow or interlock fingers, extend the arms behind you. Inhale, lift the chest bone up. Exhale, bend down on the inside of the right thigh, inside of the right leg into humble warrior. And again, arms could either extend further down behind you or you can keep holding on to your elbows. See if you could soften your neck, let the head drop down and keep the weight on both feet. Feel both feet pressing down. And still breathing. We'll take another breath in and out. And then staying down, bring hands onto your lower back. Release arms down, bring hands all the way down onto the mat. And again, Vinyasa flow from here. So step your both feet back. Inhale in plank. Exhale to low plank. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. And exhale into downward facing dog. Couple of breaths in and out. You can shake the head. And then from here, we're going to go into a yogi squat pose. So now look towards your hands and then step or jump your both feet forward. I suggest to the outside of the hands so your feet are a bit wider apart. You can turn the toes, knees out a bit and then exhale, lower the pelvis down. And you can still adjust the feet. Find a place where you feel you could lower the pelvis down. Now, if this feels really strong without any props, you could bring your block under the pelvis so that you can lean a bit more weight onto that block. So that is an option. Wherever you are in your squat, we're going to come into a twist. So first, try to release your hands off the mat. Bring your palms together. And then we're going to step the left hand to the outside of your left foot. And so your inner left arm is kind of opening the left hip. And then from there, as you inhale, open your chest, reaching the right arm up. And you can stay here or exhale, bend the right arm so that the right hand comes behind the pelvis, behind the back. And you can stay here or last option, reach your left hand behind the back, behind the pelvis as well, so that you could maybe reach fingertips together behind the pelvis. So a binding pose. Wherever you are, keep opening the chest. So it's a big opening for hips and shoulders. And then exhale slowly, release your arms. Bring both hands on the mat in front of you. And we're going to shift the weight to hands, lift the pelvis up, come into a full forward bend. Now if you had a block there, just put the block aside and enjoy that opening at the back of the legs for a few breaths. You'd shake the head again. We're going to continue into a lunge from here. So now if your feet are quite wide apart, bring them just a tiny bit closer to the center line. And then bend your right knee, step your left foot far back. Keep the left heel off the mat. And then as you inhale, lift your back up. Lift arms up to begin with as well. And you can still adjust your feet so you find your high lunge. We're going to come into cow face arms in this lunge. So first, reach your left arm up and bring right arm down next to your side. Bend your left elbow so that you bring your left elbow next to your head and then reach the left hand to your upper back, kind of between your shoulder blades. Then we're going to reach the right hand closer to that left hand. Maybe the fingertips can come together. Maybe you can hook your fingertips together. Or it could be just that intention of hands reaching closer together. Wherever the arms are, breathe. Let your chest open, but not arching the back too much. So still keeping the core engaged. And take another breath in and out with these cow face arms. And then we're going to release those arms, open arms out to the sides. And then eagle arms. Now left arm on top of the right. You could twist the forearms around each other. Reach palms together. And from there, as you inhale, lift yourself forward into warrior 3, balancing pose. Lifting the left leg up behind you and reaching your head, your back forward. Now, don't think about the hips too much. You could let the hips open. Just focus on the balance here. And breathing in and out. The hips are strong, but I don't want you to be too fixed on keeping the hips squared. You can let the hips open. Take another breath in and out. And then exhale, step the left foot down, release the arms, bring hands all the way down to the mat. And as you inhale, swing your right leg up into the air, into a three-legged dog where you can move the hip, you can move the foot, the knee a bit. Just releasing that right leg. And either stay in this three-legged dog or add a vinyasa flow. By inhaling forward to plank, bring both feet down. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale into downward dog. Shake the head a bit. And we're going to do this to the other side, starting from the squat. So now again, you could look forward to hands and then step or jump your both feet to the kind of outside of the hands, outer edges of the mat. And slowly, slowly bring the pelvis down into your squat. Again, let yourself adjust the feet so you don't feel any pain in the knees. Make sure the ankles are happy. Again, you might bring a block under the pelvis if you want. And then we'll try to make ourselves take hands off the mat. Bring palms together. See if you can balance there. And then to go into the twist on this side, now extend the right arm so that your arm is on the inside of the right knee. Bring hand or fingertips on the mat on the outside of that right foot. And then inhale, twist to the left side. Now left arm can reach up and you can stay there. Or bring left arm behind the back. So the left hand, maybe the back of the hand is resting behind the pelvis. And you can stay there. Or the last option is to do the full bind. And you need to rotate the right shoulder in, then reach the left hand behind the pelvis and maybe hook the fingertips together behind the pelvis, behind the right hip. And keep opening your chest out to the side. Keep breathing towards the ribs. Take another breath in and out. And then exhale slowly. Release the arms, release that bind. Step hands in front of you. And from there, lift the hips up. Arrive into that full forward bend. And you can turn toes towards the front of the mat. Either keep hands on the mat or just let the arms hang down. You can shake the head. And then with your next couple of breaths, again, if you have your feet very wide apart, just heel toe them slightly closer together. And we're going to go into the high lunge on the other side. So now bend your left knee and step your right foot far back. Feet could be about hip width apart, kind of lengthwise. And then inhale, lift your back up, reach arms up. You can still adjust your feet. Front knee stays bent. And then we're going to do our cow face arms on the other side. So now keep reaching the right arm up and then release the left arm down. From there, bend your right elbow so you still keep the right arm next to the head and reach right hand somewhere between the shoulder blades. Then bend the left elbow and again, see if you can reach the fingertips towards each other. You need to rotate the left shoulder in. Or maybe even hook the fingertips together. Often in this pose, one side is much easier than the other. So if you feel that you are quite asymmetrical with the cow face arms, that is very, very fine. Again, you can let the chest open, but don't arch the back too much. So we really try to send the opening into the shoulders. Breathe in and out. And then stay in your lunge, but now inhale, release the arms, open the arms, and we go into eagle arms. On this side, right arm on top. So cross the arms, twist the forearms around each other. And then as you inhale, send your weight forward onto the left foot and start to lift the right leg up behind you. And again, don't be too strict with your hips. You don't need to keep the hips squared. You could let your hips open. Standing leg could be slightly bent. Reach hip and the right foot away from each other. And we still keep breathing. Take another breath in and out. And then exhale, release the right foot down. Release arms, step hands on the mat. And as you inhale, swing the left leg up into the air. Again, three-legged dog. You can open the hips. You can move your foot, your ankle, your knee. Heavy head dropping down. And then we're going to either stay in this three-legged dog or go through a vinyasa flow. So if you want, inhale, come forward to plank. Bring the feet down. Exhale to low plank. Inhale into cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale to downward dog. If you're still in that three-legged dog, bring your feet down. And then slowly walk your hands and feet together. Maybe they meet at the middle of the mat, maybe at the top of the mat, you choose. That full forward bend. Breathe a couple of times in and out. Let the hands soften, let the neck soften. And then slowly, slowly, knees a bit bent, roll the back up. Press the feet down, lift up through the belly, lift up through the chest. And we arrive into a mountain pose, Tadasana pose. And from here, we're going to do a couple of balancing poses before we go into our Bird of Paradise final balancing peak pose. And we're going to, well, you could stay the way you are. I'm just going to turn towards you so you can see a bit better. And we're going to come into knee to chest pose, or you could make this a baby Bird of Paradise pose. So this is a preparation for that peak pose. And I'll give you options for the arms. So first, in your Tadasana pose, take a breath in and out, ground your feet, and then shift the weight onto your left foot. Lift your right knee up towards the chest, and you could take hold of the knee or shin and help with the hands to lift the knee up, still keeping hips about in the same level, and core starts to engage. So also use that lifting up from the lower belly up through the spine. And now you could stay here, keep your hands like this. Or if you want to try the baby Bird of Paradise, take your right arm, reach it to the inside of your right leg, then under the knee, and take hold of the outer edge of your right foot with your right hand, and bring left hand onto your waist. And then try to lift your back up as much as feels okay. Now, you can either stay here or wherever your arms are, whether they're around the knee or in your foot, you could slowly exhale, open that right hip. So you're moving that right leg out to the side. So even if you're holding the knee, you could do this. You could open the hip. Keep the standing legs strong. Keep the muscles around your hips strong. and breathe. And also, whichever variation you're doing, try to keep lifting your back up. Keep the core strong all the way from your inner leg to pelvic floor to your spine. And then if you have the hip open, close the right hip, release the right hand, and bring your both feet down. And it might be nice to move the feet a bit. Roll the shoulders. Take a big breath in, reach arms up. And exhale, release the arms down. Good. And we're going to do that same to the other side. So preparing for bird of paradise on the other side. On this side, we're going to stand on the right foot. So shift the weight onto your right foot. And then lifting up all the way from your right foot to your spine. Lift the left knee towards the chest. And again, let the left hip still stay down. Tops of the shoulders release away from the ears. And you have options for the arms here as well. So you can stay here or take your left arm, reach it to the inside of your left thigh, then kind of around the shin. So the arm goes under the left knee. So you could take hold of the outer edge of that left foot. Then you can bring right hand onto your waist and try to lift back up. So don't let the leg pull the back down. Very strong lifting up through the whole core. And you can either stay here or wherever the arms are. Exhale, start to open the left hip. So you're moving the left leg out to the side. But now make sure your right leg is resisting that opening. So you don't let the left leg pull the whole pelvis to the left side. And the right side of your torso very active as well. So the left leg can't pull you out to the side. Breathe in and out. Again, breathing more out to the ribs and lifting from the right foot to inner thigh to pelvic floor to your abdominals to your spine. One more breath. And then wherever you are, close the left hip. Release the arms, release the left foot down. And again, you can move the shoulders, you can move your feet. Take a couple of breaths in and out. And from here, I'm going to turn to the top of the mat. You can do the same. We're going to do half sun salutation, and then we're going to try that bird of paradise pose. So breathe in and out. Ground your feet. And as you inhale, lengthen arms up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, bend down, full forward bend, head comes down. Inhale to flat back, knees could be bent, open the chest. Exhale, bring hands down, step or jump your both feet back into plank. Inhale in plank. And then exhale to low plank. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, opening the front line. And then exhale into downward facing dog. And from here, we're going to make our way into bird of paradise via warrior 2. So now you could look forward, lift your right leg up. Exhale, step right foot between the hands or somewhere close to the hands and turn the left foot onto the mat like warrior 2 feet. And then inhale, lift yourself up into warrior 2. You can still adjust the feet. And now first, try lifting your right heel off the mat. So you're on your toes in that right foot. Breathe. And then slowly release that right heel down. Now, as you inhale, you could rotate your palms up to the ceiling, open the chest. And then exhale, tilt down to the inside of that right leg. Or you can lean the right elbow onto the right thigh. So if you want to stay here in extended side angle, you can stay here. I suggest bringing left arm behind the back. If you want to go further, make sure your right arm is on the inside of that right leg. And then you could either do the same that we just did in that balancing pose, reach right arm under the right leg and take hold of your right ankle, or go into full bind and reach right arm behind the back so that you can bring your fingers together, hook the hands, hook the fingers together. Either option is good. Now, to go into balancing, slowly step your left foot closer to the right foot, and then lift your right foot onto tippy toes, shifting the weight onto your left foot. Start to lift yourself up, 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 up. So using your back, using your core, and the right leg comes into that open pose on your right side. Remember, you might have those arms where you're holding your right ankle or your right foot with your right hand. Keep breathing. If you want to go one last step further, you could try extending, straightening that right leg further out, but that is very super optional. Take 1 or 2 more breaths in and out wherever you are. And then exhale, bend the right knee, and now with control, we're slowly going to lower that right foot back down. And then when the foot is down, then we release the arms, step hands on mat, step feet back. And you could either do child's pose here or a vinyasa flow. You choose. If you want to flow, exhale to low plank. Inhale to upward dog or cobra, and exhale into downward dog. Now, if you are in child's pose, come back into downward dog. Breathe in and out. And we'll do all that to the other side. So, from downward dog, you could first lift the left leg up. And then exhale, step the left foot close to the hands and turn your right foot on the mat. So warrior 2 feet. Inhale up into your warrior 2. And you can still adjust the feet. Good. Keep breathing. And then we have that left foot action. So now lift your left heel off the mat. So you're on the tippy toes in that left foot. And keep lifting up through the core. Focus on the breath. I start to feel a bit breathless here. And then release the left heel down. As you inhale, turn palms up to the ceiling, open the chest. And exhale, lean down towards that left leg. Again, you could bring left elbow onto the left thigh. So that's a very good option. I suggest bringing right arm behind the back. Keep the chest open. And then if you want to go further, bring left arm lower down. So you're kind of diving to the inside of that left leg. And you could do the baby arms, baby bird of paradise, where you reach left hand to your left ankle. Or if you want to try, you could reach the left hand to your right hand. So trying to hook fingers together, hands together, full bind. Wherever you are. Now, if you want to go into balancing, then start to bring your right foot closer to that left foot. And lift left foot onto tippy toes. Shift the weight onto your right foot. And you can slowly lift yourself up into that balancing pose, but you can stay anywhere along the way. Now keep again, torso very strong, so the left leg can't pull you down. If you want, you could try straightening the left leg, but choose any option that feels good for you now. And the challenge is to keep breathing. Keep lifting up from the pelvic floor, from the lower belly. Keep breathing out to the ribs. One more breath in and out. And then slowly, slowly, we start to come down. So bending the left leg, and with control, very slowly, bring that left foot down. Then release the arms, bring hands to the mat. And either child's pose or Vinyasa flow. Last, Vinyasa flow if you want. Exhale to low plank. Inhale to cobra or upward dog. And exhale into last downward facing dog. Take a few breaths in and out wherever you are. Release the neck, the shoulders. And then find your way into child's pose. A very well-deserved child's pose. Make this a soft one, easy one. Let the head lean down onto something. And take a few slightly slower breaths in and out. And then with your next few breaths, bring yourself onto hands and knees. And you could cross your ankles, your shins behind you, and sit over the shins onto the pelvis. Release the legs in front of you and make sure you have room behind you as we're going to roll down onto the back. So make sure you're not hitting your head onto anything. And slowly, slowly start to roll the spine down, vertebra by vertebra. Try to go extra low when it feels difficult. And then release the shoulders, release the head down. Keep your knees bent, because we're going to do a twist, a reclining twist. So first side, bring your both knees to the right side of the mat. Leave the chest open. You could even open the left arm further out to the side or next to the head. And allow this to be a more relaxed twist. Shoulders softening, neck softening, the breath softening and calming down. Let your heart rate slow down, calm down as well. Take another breath in and out in your twist. And slowly, slowly with the next couple of breaths, bring yourself back to center, lift the knees up. And we'll go and twist to the other side. So now bring your both knees to the left side of the mat. You can keep both knees bent. And then maybe open the right arm, the right shoulder out to the right side. Head can turn to either side if you want. Maybe left hand resting on top of the legs, kind of very gently weighing them down. And then again, just breathe here. Now, start to breathe down towards the belly. Let the belly soften. Let go of the core support. Take another breath in and out. And then slowly again, bring yourself back to the center. Lift the knees up. And we are going to find our way into Shavasana pose, into the resting pose. It might be lying down on the back. But if you prefer lying down on your belly or lying down on one side, feel free to do that. You can also choose to leave the knees bent in your Shavasana pose. After all those movements, all those strong poses, allow yourself to rest, to find a moment of stillness. Let your breathing quiet down, calm down. Just notice how you feel here, how the shoulders, how the hips feel. Let your breath slide all the way down towards the belly. Allow each exhalation to soften tension, release effort. And let the body become just a bit heavier here. Give yourself another 5 to 10 breaths in your resting pose. Or it might be that you want to stay longer. But first, let's take those 5 to 10 breaths. Just letting the body rest. As you arrive to the end of those 5 to 10 breaths, see if you'd be ready to start waking up, or if you'd like to extend your Shavasana pose. I encourage you to stay here as long as you feel that is needed. Might be 5, 10 minutes in your resting pose. Take all the time that you have and you need today. If you feel that now you would like to start bringing yourself back, take a slightly deeper breath in and out and start to move your fingers and toes. Start to move your hands and your feet. If you want, you might lengthen arms overhead along the floor and reach the whole body long from hands down to the feet. And then slowly roll onto one side, either left or the right side, and bring yourself up into a seat if you feel you're ready to close the practice. You could still keep your eyes closed or just soften the gaze down. Find an easy pose where you could take a few more breaths in and out. If it's part of your practice, you could bring palms together in front of the chest. And as always, at the end of the practice, thank yourself for bringing yourself onto the mat and going through the practice with your body, your breath. I thank you all very much for joining in. Namaste. Thank you. Good. Thank you so much for joining in. I do hope you enjoyed the practice, and if you did, please give the video a thumbs up and also leave a comment below. Let me know how you feel now or how you like the practice. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. There'll be loads more free classes and other yoga related videos coming up. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.